Okay, guys, I'm just going to do a real quick video here. I thought I would show this because I'm getting a lot of questions and interests on it. I think it intrigues a lot of people that are starting out with gardening or homesteading, and you're, aware of obviously certain vegetables or things out there, but you've never grown them or seen them actually be grown or processed. So I know me personally, growing up, I grew up, if I had a nickel for every bowl of pinto beans that I'd ever eaten, I'd be a millionaire, as they say. But I have never seen them actually, I've never been around anyone that actually grew them. It was always something that, was picked up at the store and never an issue. And, if they took the time to have a big garden, they grew, oh my goodness, tomatoes and green beans and okra and all kinds of different things like that. But moving up here, and also going with what we know as the non-GMO movement, because you can't really trust what's going on with your foods these days unless they're labeling it. And as we all know, that's a push to even get that done. So as I always tell you, if you are aware of a company that's producing a product that is willing to label their goods and let you know specifically of what you are consuming or buying, then those are the people that you need to support. You have the right to eat and do and whatever you want. I am 100% into that. But at the same time, I think that you have the right to know and have a choice. So along with that, we decided to go with we started growing our own beans. And not green beans, yes, but we've never grown pinto beans. And a friend of mine, I call her Farmer Jen. I love her to death. She grows pinto beans. I think she probably caught us, we caught her off guard a little bit because I was just awestruck. I was like, pinto beans, And she's like, honey? So she told me how to do it. And it is so crazy simple, guys. Okay, so basically you pick and choose how big of the garden area you want. Now, I'm going to tell you that you're probably going to want a fairly good space or long row for pinto beans to get a pretty good yield, simply because you're not dealing with the whole plant per se. You are dealing with, this is your outcome, right? This is your bean, your future seed, whatnot. But all you do is you're going to literally dig your trench in the soil. All I did, I believe, a couple of inches, and then I planted my seeds. If my memory serving, I bought pinto beans. Now, I bought non-GMO pinto beans from rareseeds.com. There's all kinds of sources for non-GMO goods. You can pick and choose what what you like, but I'm just letting you know what I did. I planted the bushes. I did about, I don't know, I want to argue it might be a 40-foot row. I only did one pack because I'd never done this. It was experimentation. A lot of things that we're trying this year, we are experimenting with as far as our own ability to grow and produce it. So we're learning. But in that, I'm very pleased. So like I said, I did the trench, dug the trench with the hoe, planted the seeds every 4 to 6 inches apart, as I tell you, covered them up, and I took care of that row just like I would have taken care of any other row. And I made sure that I always mulch my gardens with down the walkways or up towards the plants with grass clippings in particularly. And with my hay and whatnot, my manure, I keep, that's an ongoing thing here on the farm. So anyway, they grew and grew and grew, and I produced these huge, lush plants, okay? And they were green, and they started to vine a little bit, and then I started getting the bean, I guess the bean pods, as you will, with the beans in them. And all I've done is let them sit. Eventually, they started looking a little bit wimpy. Eventually, they started kind of dying over and drying out, and I thought, okay, this is what I've been told to do, so Lord help me out. Long story short, last week I went out there and it had rained, and I thought I'd better look at these because I know they're really dry. And it was interesting because a couple of the pods, I guess you could call it, had beans in them, and it was cracked, and some of the beans were actually sprouting. I was like, I better get to pulling. So I pulled every one of them up. You probably saw a picture of that maybe. Pulled every one of them up. I brought the plants in a huge wagon up to the house. And James and I, my husband, sat and we did all evening with Mr. Peaches, and we started pulling these off. That was the first task. Now this is the last little bit. I left these on purpose to show you. And but everything else has been put into bowls. We're working on these this week. And my children, I told them, if you're going to have TV time this week, because I try to keep that to a minimum, then while you're sitting, guess what you get to do? So they've been producing their own pinto beans, and they are so tickled to death. And a couple days ago, I thought, I'm going to try these babies out, because I've been told you've never tasted a pinto bean until you actually make your own homegrown. And I'm going to tell you right now that that has been proven to me. I don't know if I'll ever be able to eat pinto beans from the store again, because there is no comparison. I don't even know how to compare them. Now, I cook my pinto beans actually in a crock pot. I have figured out how I like them and what's easy for me to do. And I figured out as a busy mom that, if I put pinto beans on at night before I go to bed, just like you would maybe a pot roast, and I let them slow cook. And then I check on them when I get up, and I check on them midday or whatever. And by evening time or late afternoon, I've got a big old pot of beans ready to go. I just like having to learn stuff like that, because if I know I've got, at a minimum, if I've got a bowl of beans ready to go, I can fill in the edges and make some cornbread, and we're not going to be desperate to go out to eat, which, like I've told you before, is very difficult to do from our location. So I just want to stress to you another moment. So here's what they look like, okay? And then you literally just pop them open, okay? And well, he fell in there. There's your bean. Boo! So this has been so remarkable, in my opinion. This is not rocket science, and a few of you are looking at this and laughing your tails off saying, honey, I've done that 100 million times. Well, for us young folks, we've not. So this was like, a big deal. This was so good. I think that this is so good, and we eat so much of this that I'm going to probably quadruple the amount of pinto beans that we are doubling the large garden. We have over, right now, 3,000 square feet of garden, and we're going to double that. So we're going to make a whole lot more room for pinto beans and potatoes, because, again, we're experimenting with certain things this year that we've tried sort of before or not, but maybe where we weren't confident. I don't know, different types, and we have just been so pleased. So I hope this helps you. Hope it encourages you to try maybe some pinto beans or other types of beans. A lot of you are commenting about that, and I just find that so encouraging. Such a good source of protein, and such an easy thing to make, and make other things from. Chili, oh, whew. So y'all have a great day, and hope this helps. And pardon all the little mess here, but honey, we've got vegetables coming in, and we got to get moving on processing. So y'all take care, and I'll talk to you soon.